I just bought this salvage Mercedes E-Class from Copart in Bristol, and it's a little bit different. The auction listed the car as being vandalized, but it was a little bit different. It was vandalized by a bunch of rats. Mercedes charged 18 grand to fix this car. This is how I fixed it for less than a third of that price. A little bit skeptical, but look at what the rats have done, guys. That, oh my God. Have a look at all of this. It's a complete nightmare. It absolutely stinks. If you look right there, you can see some damage right there where the rats have chewed through the wiring right there. Have a look at that. The rats have literally chewed through the seats, chewed through parts of the soft top, literally just gone to town on all the wiring, everything. It looks like they've just literally been in a frenzy. It's crazy what they've done. Absolutely crazy. Look at all of that. And that's all the rat hair you can see. They literally were living in this car for months and months and months. So guys, you've had a full tour of the car. What we're gonna do now is get the battery. I had it charging overnight, connect the battery up, see what we're working with, and continue. Hopefully the damage is not too bad. Hopefully the rats haven't done too much. So the first step was to get some power to the car. So I swapped out the battery for a new one. With the battery in the car, have a look at all of this muck, grime, feces, rat hair, footprints, you name it. They'd done a number on this car. It was actually quite disgusting. So I had to make sure I was wearing some proper gloves. So right now that should be starting. That is a huge. See guys, so we've definitely got a problem. So as you can see, the car was not starting. However, I was totally gassed to see that the roof was actually still working, which was a plus. So have a look, the output for the fuel pump has an open circuit. So literally they've chewed through the wires for the fuel pump, they've chewed through the wires for the restraint system, have a look at that. They've chewed through the wire for the crankcase sensor. They've chewed through the wires for so many sensors in this car. So getting in the car and getting it ready, man.
You can't get in a car like that, man. Rats, they got carry diseases, loads of stuff, man.
I got just the thing. 1 second. Oh. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Let's go. Now this car absolutely stank. So the next day I went and got some industrial strength disinfectant spray and I gave the car a good looking over. I made sure that I used industrial strength to get rid of any germs, and I just wanted to get rid of that smell. The car really, I can't say, I wish you had smell-o-vision. It really reeked. Now after giving the car a nice clean, it smelled a whole lot better, and I got started with tearing down the interior because I noticed some more damage to the wiring looms on the inside of the car. I actually found damage to the fuel pump wires, the ABS controller wires, the airbag wires, the seatbelt wires. Pretty much these rats went to town. So after some more cleaning, let me explain to you exactly what I found. So guys, I've stripped out the back a bit more. I've disinfected everything once again, and I can see, because I've put it on the diagnostics, one of the issues is there's no communication with the fuel pump. Now underneath the seat, that's why I took off this panel here. That's the fuel pump cover, and the fuel pump is located in there. Now if you look here, this is the earth wire, and clearly this goes straight to the fuel pump, and that earths the fuel pump. As you can see, it's completely chewed through the earth wire. Now that I found all that damage, I made a plan and I went ahead and I got all my tools needed to repair all of these wires. Now Mercedes had charged to replace the entire wiring loom, and that's why the bill was upwards of 18,000. I'm going to be doing smart repairs on all the damaged wires, and hopefully that can get everything sorted. So let's see how we get on, and hopefully it all works. What do you think? With all of that done, I realized that the rats even got under the center console. So I had to remove the center console because several of these buttons weren't working. Like this little controller here was not working. The ambient lighting was not working. And I couldn't believe that they actually got under here, but wait until you see what I found. I'm just hoping that I don't open up anything and see a dead rat or a dead mouse or anything, but so far it looks good. Chewed up. So that's one wire. They've had a nice little nibble at it right there, right here, right here. The other side, right there. These rats were hungry, man. Completely starving rats. Let's reconnect all of these wires, get all the communication going around the car again, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get the car started. So guys, here comes more wiring repairs, more smart repairs. Some of them were really hard to get to, but I managed to repair all the broken wires that I found, and I'm making sure that I solder all the wires so they don't come loose in the future. Now with all the wires repaired, you can see the ambient lighting started to work. I was very happy about that. But one thing I didn't realize, that the clock wasn't working prior to me doing that. Have a look at this, it's working right now. The next day I came in and I reassembled the entire center console. Everything was working like I said, but then I found some more damage in the engine bay. Check this out. This is a very important sensor on the engine and it had chewed up wires, so I removed it all together, cleaned it all up, and I soldered it back into place. With that done, it was finally time to see if we can get this car to start. Oh my god. Straight away. I always say this in my channel, hard work pays off. Guys, keep it moving. With that done, I went straight and I took this car for a first test drive. The car is just absolutely filthy. It's been sat in mud, in a field. And speaking of sitting in a field, I've did a bit more research and I found out the history of this car. So this car allegedly was owned by some travelers, and they left it in a field for months and months on end throughout the winter period, and the rats kind of made their way in. I do not know how they got in. I can't see a direct way for them to enter the vehicle. Somehow the car was recovered, it went back to Copart. I do not know how it made its way to Copart. All I do know is that Copart was in charge of the car and they tried to get the car diagnosed. They took it to Mercedes in Bristol. Mercedes in Bristol charged them 18 grand. They decided, nah, I'm not doing that. They stuck it on the auctions and now here it is. But guess what, guys? We did it. We brought it back. That's what I always say. I bring cars back from the brink of destruction, and this car was destined for one way, the tip. So like I just said, this rat-infested Mercedes drop top was destined for the tip, but here on Salvage Nation we brought it back and it was finally time to give it one last clean. But then I found some more damage. Have a look at this. This is a crash sensor on the side of the car that was also chewed, so I ended up having to remove the seats, remove bits of the carpet, and I just went through the entire wiring loom, and yeah, there was lots of chewed up wires in there as well, so I had to repair those. Once I repaired those, however, the car was finally completed. And this is how I brought this car from a wreck that was destined to the tip. No one wanted to do it. Mercedes wanted to charge 18k into this thing of beauty. And this is one of my best builds on the channel. If you want to see the full episodes of this build, go into my playlist on the channel. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the next one. We've got some exciting builds coming. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you check out one of my previous videos on the left? There's plenty in the playlist. And if you want to know more about the Salvage game, why don't you become a member of Salvage Nation, and I'll be there to guide you along the way. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram if you want to get an inside scoop before YouTube.